Good afternoon. This is Dr. Saul Goldstein. The opinions expressed by these two, fellows, colored folks, may or may not be the opinions of their employers or mine. Holla at me.
Top, they want top, they love top, they want top, they love top.
If I speak, I am in big trouble. In big trouble. And I don't want to be in big trouble.
We are back with Shooter Pass. Ken, I hope you got some good topics this week, man. I'm not feeling the vibes, so I need you to revive me live
All
and
right.
give me some good topics.
Yeah, so we got we got 4 topics here. Some of them are MLS related.
Mhm.
Well, 3 of them are MLS related. One of them is national team men's and women's related. It looks like we're touching all corners of the MLS in some of these topics. So let's see. I guess the first one, let's start with something fun, right? So a plan leaked out from MLS headquarters from one of the journalists that the playoffs for the MLS are going to change to a World Cup style competition where instead of just knockout format, where your one plays your 8, your two plays your 2 plays your 8, your
Mhm.
whatever, and your number 1 gets to buy. All 8 teams from each conference that qualify advance, and then your top 8 group stage finishers go into a single round knockout. So I guess you take the 16 teams, you put them in 4 groups of 4, and then they each play each other once, and then your top 2 go into a single style knockout. Um, how do you feel about the current MLS playoff structure, and do you think this is a better structure or a more interesting structure? Shooter pass.
Uh, the correct answer is pass, but I'm going to shoot.
Okay, first.
The-
Why is the correct answer pass?
because I hope they pass on this format. It's trash. Like
You-
the MLS is already, bro. I understand why they're trying to include more formats that make more sense to more people around the world. But I think it's generally better to just lean into what you do well, and the people that like you will like you for that. And that's it. Trying to do a World Cup playoff group stage playoff format for MLS is just, come on, bro. No, we already have a bunch of meaningless games anyway.
Ah!
Now you want to add 8 more meaningless games. Just stop. Just stop. Pass on this idea and bring back the damn running penalty kicks. That's what you need to do.
So, not for nothing, I actually kind of like this idea.
Bruh, what are you talking about?
Well, I mean, I like the idea for the creativity because I see what they're trying to do, right? Like, ultimately, they're trying to create some separation between the regular season and the playoffs in terms of what the regular season means and what the MLS Cup means, right? Because now there's not really that much separation. You go through your regular season slog, and then you go through some regular ass knockout, and you get a supporter shield that nobody cares about, and an MLS Cup that people care about slightly more, right?
Yeah.
So, I kind of see what they're doing, trying to create a little separation there between okay, this is our regular season and this is a postseason tournament by making it more of a tournament. So I get that, but I mean
Why is the solution not to reduce the number of teams that make the damn playoffs?
Money.
Yeah. They just want more.
Simple.
Yeah.
There we go.
This is stupid. Stupid. This is why the correct answer is pass.
Oh yeah. I mean, this isn't the brightest idea, but like I see where they're trying to take us here. I see where they're
Yeah.
trying to take us. All right. So speaking of MLS, yeah, let's do another MLS one. So we've reported on this earlier. I think I'm not sure if we did a lot of coverage on it, but an American has bought Bournemouth, right? And like this includes like the group that has like Michael B. Jordan in it, like all that shit, right?
Hmm.
So like they bought Bournemouth. Reportedly they only paid 125 million for it.
Fire.
And fire, right? Well, they didn't buy the whole club. They just did like a 50.1.
Oh,
Um
that's interesting.
yeah,
Even
yeah, yeah,
still,
yeah.
fire.
I mean, that's smart,
It's a
right? Like you don't
controlling
have
stake,
yeah, you don't have to buy the
and
whole
you're not
cow.
all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's interesting here is that what's interesting here is Bill Foley, the guy that's like the head of this.
Hmm.
He wanted to bring an MLS team to Las Vegas, but he said all in all, it would have cost like $1 billion to make that happen
Easy.
between the stadium, where he would have to build the stadium, just the expansion league price. Like, it's a couple things like coupled together that was going to make it cost $1 billion. So,
Hmm.
um, shooter pass is MLS's expansion fee coupled with their requirement that you need to own a stadium a bridge too far for new investors into the league? Shooter pass.
Shoot.
Okay, what you
Apparently not, because motherfuckers keep paying
got?
it. People keep paying it.
Yeah.
Bro, I do not understand. I mean, we just saw we did, the crossover episode with Shades of Blue. We were talking about NYCFC Stadium. Like they've already paid probably a $200 million expansion fee for NYCFC,
Mm-hmm.
plus all of the money they've had to spend moving us around for stadium issues, paying the money they paid in rent to the
Mm-hmm.
Yankees alone. And now, on top of all that, they're about to spend upwards of 700 million on a soccer specific stadium in Queens. Um, bro, crazy. I personally do not understand, but I mean, why would I understand that much money? Like I don't understand. It's a world well above my realm of comprehension. So shout out to this dude. Like that just shows he's really thinking about more than just the flair of being in the owners club in MLS.
Yeah.
There you can get an NFL franchise for less than that. But
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't get anybody to
100%.
sell one. But if you could,
Yeah.
it'd be way less than $1 billion. So, well,
Yeah.
not necessarily way less, but depending on the franchise. Anyway, my point is MLS expansion fees are so high. The stadium requirement, if you have to build one from the ground up, is just outrageous, especially when you're competing in a market where we already have new ones and then another new one and then another new one, and you got to top the last four that were built. So it just gets crazier and crazier. The fees keep going up. But you have that caveat that there's no promotion and relegation. So it is a lifetime investment if you play your cards right. Um, Not the same case with buying a club in England. So if they get relegated, he loses a lot of money. But again, I think that's part of the beauty of his setup. Buying a controlling stake, but not being completely all in on the club. Brilliant move, man. This man is about his paper for real.
Yeah, I disagree with you a little bit. I think depending on where you buy a MLS expansion, or like it is still a really, really, really good deal. Like all in all, the roughly $1 billion that NYCFC is going to spend, like with their new stadium included, gonna be worth it. It's New York City,
Oh yeah,
right?
for
Like
sure. But that's New York though.
yeah. And I mean, like, LA, same way. Like,
Hmm.
Miami, probably the same way. I think where MLS is going to get into trouble and where they really need to start looking at like how they're going to develop out their second and third division eventually
Hmm.
is like in these mid markets. Like, nobody's going to pay $1 billion to put a team in Las Vegas, bro. Like,
Yeah,
that's
no,
just not going to happen.
yeah.
Right.
You
Like,
got to compete with the
maybe
slot machine.
yeah, yeah. Like maybe you get somebody throwing 250 million at that, right? But then that's not going to be an MLS 1 level club, right? Like that
Hmm.
might be like MLS Division 2, MLS Division 3. But for the size of Las Vegas, like, that probably works, right?
Yeah.
So like ultimately, I do think that they're going to have to work on this scale. But I do agree with you that like as long as people are paying for it in the major markets, bro, like it's out
Good
there.
luck. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
yeah, yeah.
luck.
Like it's out there. Okay, let's do one more. Yeah, let's do our last MLS story before we hop to some national team news. So Apple, it looks like with their TV deal or their streaming deal with the MLS, it looks like they are not giving every season ticket holder a MLS Plus subscription. Full disclosure, as a season ticket holder for the Chicago Fire, I have not been contacted about a MLS Plus subscription. I don't know, like if like the club would contact me, or I'd have to contact them to redeem it. Like if I have to talk to my ticket person, like what I have to do on that end. But like I don't know anything about it. So,
Hmm.
um, do you think that all season ticket holders are actually going to end up getting um like subscriptions to MLS Plus, or do you think this is going to be like more of a devil in the details type deal and you'll probably end up with like some number that's definitely not everybody? Shooter pass.
Shoot.
All right.
So I think everybody's not going to get it
Okay.
because that's very MLS. And I think it will kind of be broken down by the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So if you
Yeah.
are a supporter and you're like, I want my goddamn subscription, they be like, here you go.
Yeah.
If you have pitch side seats and you don't even remember to ask for that shit, they're gonna be like, well, we're out.
Yeah.
So I think that's how it will generally work. Like if you know to ask, you will get one. If you are quick on the draw once the emails come out and you run and do whatever sign up, you'll get one, no problem. But anything after the fact or whatever their cutoff is, I can't imagine what it would be. I would hope at least that it would be a full season long at a minimum. If not, just like, eesh, I just do not understand. So yeah, we'll see what happens, man. What do you think will happen?
I don't know, man. And like honestly, I don't know how much I should care about this. Cause I mean, like, not for nothing. Looking at our schedule, I don't know how many of these away games I'm gonna want to watch anyway.
Yeah,
Like
the
we ain't.
schedule was ass this year.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
looked
yeah.
at away
Like
trips I wanted to travel to, and I was like, oh no, none of these. I
I
don't want
think
to go
I'm.
to RSL.
I think I maybe have like one good away trip that I want to go to. Maybe like I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about Portland.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, but like other than that, like maybe NYCFC. That's a little early in the year though. Like all the ones I want to go to, man, it's just like I don't know. I'm not a real fan of this schedule, so we'll just leave it at that. I'm not sure how many of these I'm actually going to end up like caring to watch, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense. So, like, I don't know. Like, none of these really stick out. Like, we don't have any. Like, we just don't have any games, like away games that like I want to see, bro.
Yeah. It's not just you.
Like maybe no, I would say Atlanta United or like Inter Miami, but like, are those teams are they going to be good?
Atlanta maybe, Miami unlikely.
We don't play. The only LA team we play away is the Galaxy. Like,
Yeah. That's the other thing too. It's like with everybody locked into their coast, like, bro,
yeah,
don't talk to me about no supporter shield in 2023. Please don't.
yeah, yeah. Because this is definitely like, yeah, this is definitely like a schedule where you can tell, like, you could tell the NFLification of like the MLS is coming. Because
Mm-hmm.
like literally looking at this schedule is like one step away from like breaking everything into
AFC
divisions.
and NFC.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, we're already at Eastern and Western, right? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like we're 2 years away from getting like divisions where NYCFC is going to be playing Red Bull in Philadelphia and DC like twice a year,
Oh,
like home and aways. That's going to be 80 or 32 games. And
yeah,
then,
man.
like,
Squeeze out 4 rivalry weeks.
yeah, yeah. I actually think that's going to be good, though. Like, I think that'd be good for,
Oh my God. Please no.
I think that'd be good for the league.
Oh man. If it is, bro. Oof. Not a fan.
I mean, it'd make me a lot more likely to want to watch some of these away games.
Mm.
Because I mean, now like I ain't looking forward to like I ain't looking forward to watching any of these away games for real.
Right.
Like, there's just nobody in this group that like there's just nobody in this group that I feel like I have like a vested interest in watching them away. So like that's whatever. All right. I felt like that really had promise, and then it just died a slow death because we started looking at the schedule and was like, "Oh, this schedule is ass, bro."
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so the last thing. Um, I think Joe Byron. I think Joe
Joe
Byron,
Budden.
Joe Budden.
No,
I
you got
mean
to take it back to 1999. Joe Buttons.
Joe Buttons. Yeah, yeah. How many different names for the president can we come up with? It's not Joe Biden. Oh man. But yeah, so I think he signed this into law. Actually, this happened while we were like kind of away for Christmas holiday. Um, there's a this isn't just for the men's and women's national team. This is for all international sports that have men's and women's teams. But there was a equal pay bill that was passed. It's called the Equal Pay for Team USA Act. It covers more than 50 sports, and men and women are going to be paid the same for their international caps, essentially. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not sure if this is by sport, where like all the basketball players are going to be paid same by cap, all the soccer players are going to be paid the same by cap, or like if it's just like universal, everybody's getting the same payment regardless of sport,
Mm-hmm.
like per cap. Um, so do you think this is a good idea? Um, and how do you think this specifically affects the men's and women's like soccer national teams? Shoot or pass?
Pass.
Wow.
Pass, bro. I'm just
Wow.
tired of talking about it. Like, they can figure it out, bro. I don't know. Whatever they want to do it. Um, it'll work one way or it won't. That's what CBAs are for.
Yeah.
If this works, it works. If it doesn't work, then renegotiate at the next CBA junction. But yeah, I don't care, bro. How you feel about it?
I mean,
You think it's good?
I think the devil's going to be in the. I don't know, man. I think the devil's going to be in the details, right? Like, I don't want to say it's not good because, like, obviously, like, I want, like, obviously, I want women to get the fair share of, like, all of their, like, I want them to get the fair share of, like, all the revenue that they have coming to them. But what I'm more concerned about is what this means in terms of like where the money comes from,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like it's really easy to like chop up the money if the money's coming from internally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like how easy is it to chop up the money if like the men and the women are competing in different amounts of competitions and like those competitions are like sponsored at different levels by FIFA, like so on and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where the money becomes a lot more muddy. So like I think the devil's definitely going to be in the details of how this actually like boils out in practice. But I mean on the face of it, like yeah, give the women like their fair share, like half everything. They represent the country the same way the men represent the country. They should get, you know,
And they
same
win
splits as the men. Yeah, and they
the
win.
big wins.
Actually, I don't really care about wins, like or not. I mean, it's good that they win, but I mean, like I've always kind of been one of those people where it's like, okay, like if you represent the country, like you should get a split and you should get an equitable split,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, like whatever, you know. But it's going to be interesting to see how like they end up busting it down when they get like this FIFA money because FIFA like in practice FIFA is not paying men and the women the same amount of money,
Right.
right? And in practice like money from this World Cup is going to be more for the men even though they didn't make it as far as the women made it, right? So like what does that bust down look like? Right.
Yeah.
That would be my only question. And then what does that bust down look like compared to other sports, right? Because like, what does Team USA look like in all of this, right?
Right. And they
Like,
hoop.
yeah, and they hoop, right? So like, is that bust down going to be the same like, per sport or like is everybody getting the same bust down? Because I mean, like, not for nothing. If I'm a curler, like I want the same bust down as Team USA men's get.
Oh, I'm trying to go get them platinum stones, bro. I'm gonna be in this motherfucker like what's his name from Event Thanos? Got the Infinity Stones.
I'm curling with Infinity Stones. Oh my god. Yeah, but I mean, like for like how equal is equal pay? Like right? Like where do those like lines? Like is it an equal percentage? Is it like an equal like
Absolutely not, and we know this.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's where like it's gonna get interesting on the bust down. So like that's all. All right, I think that was the last. I think that was the last article for Shooter Pass. Looking forward to the Choppies next week. You looking forward to the Choppies next week?
Yeah, man. We'll see who wins what. I have to remember the categories exactly, but I'll look at 2021's winners and start getting my thoughts together for who I think should take the 2022 Choppies, man. It should be a good time. I hope y'all tune in for it. We'd appreciate it. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I think our categories are like Man of the Year, Woman of the Year, Moment of the Year, and then something else.
Okay.
So yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Thank you for checking out Chop Soccer Pod Short Corners. For more, check us out on Twitter @Chop Soccer Pod and Instagram @Chop Soccer Pod. You know the vibes.